Hey, what's up, guys? Into the Tunnel here. Talking about Craig Zahler. I believe that's how you say his name. He made, he's a director who made Dragged Across Concrete, Vince Vaughn, Mel Gibson, Bone Tomahawk, Kurt Russell, and then Brawl in Cell Block 99 with Vince Vaughn. So, I've seen all these movies here recently, probably in the last 2 months, and it took me a while to find this guy, this director. His movies are all pretty new, though. I think like his first movie was made in 2015, maybe. So, I mean, they're all like pretty damn new. But they've been out there. I haven't heard them, but I think I found them on IMDb. I was on Internet Movie Database, and I was looking at prison movies because that is kind of one of my favorite genres of movies. And then I found Brawl in Cell Block 99. I think that was the first one I watched of his. So that one is my favorite that he's made. But yeah, this video, big recommendation towards him because he's one of the best directors I've seen as of late, man. I mean, he has got something very important going on here. Like, what's very interesting about him, the director, is firstly, he was a cook for 10 years writing scripts until he finally, sold a screenplay and whatnot. And I see that in him, though. There's something about this guy where when you listen to him talk, I've seen a couple interviews. I haven't been looking into him, let's say, as much as some other directors, but I've been slowly listening to him now on interviews, and he's very unconventional. He doesn't write scripts with a actor in mind. So I mean, this guy is so unconventional. He's just like changing the way movies are being made right now, big time. It's like a resurgence that he's doing because he's picking like some really cool people like Mel Gibson. He's a great guy, on screen, off screen. Vince Vaughn, he's this guy, this director, Zahler. He's really showed how good Vince Vaughn is. So he's really showed how good that guy's acting skills are. So now on to some other things with him is that what makes him stand out so much is in all his movies there's like these huge emotional changes, like you're witnessing very graphic violence, and then 20 minutes, 30 minutes later another character is introduced, and then you find out how they are, and then they, in the case of one movie, he introduces a character, and this character dies not too much later after introducing, and the way that this person goes down is so like heartbreakingly like graphic. It's like, I just don't want to give it away. But I mean, I totally recommend his movies so much because they're like, it's just so much more real. You understand the characters, and they're like shitty situations. A lot of the characters in these movies are like basically on suicide missions, or it's like their lives are just going down the toilet, and there's a lot I can relate to that, man. There's a very interesting thing he does in these movies where these people are in these hopeless scenarios, and then they push through regardless. Like in Brawl in Cell Block 99 with Vince Vaughn, this character goes through like absolute hell. I mean, it's like you couldn't really imagine much more what worse could happen to this guy. It's amazing the depths of like shit that he gets dealt in that movie. Now I'll say, like like Brawl and Cell Block 99. That's my favorite. But Bone Tomahawk and Dragged Across Concrete, those are both very good still. Little things I didn't like so much about Dragged Across Concrete and Bone Tomahawk is that there were moments that did drag on, but they were all worth it. Like, it was all worth it. It shouldn't be taken out. But there's a little more excitement in Brawl and Cell Block 99 and the actions that this guy does for the movie. You like feel for him and you cheer him on, and it's so exciting and thrilling. Bone Tomahawk is like a horror movie, but with some very interesting taste in horror. It's thrillingly terrifying. It's not truly torture type horror. There's like some bad gore in Bone Tomahawk, especially one scene that's absolutely fucking brutal. But the violence is not exacerbated to where you're watching 5 minutes of this shit of just absolute violence. But he lets you glimpse at it. You know, you can see in some of his movies like just some straight up brutality, but he's got taste in the way he presents it to where it's not overdoing it. So Bone Tomahawk, extremely thrilling movie because the horror and the danger and the getting trapped, the claustrophobia, it's like John Carpenter-esque, very fucking scary. It's way scarier than horror movies coming out, you know, usual horror movies. Like Bone Tomahawk is like fucking made my hands sweat and my heart race. That's how thrilling it was. I mean, fucking amazing. So, I mean, like, I liked Brawl and Cell Block better, but I can't knock Bone Tomahawk at all. It's super fucking good. I would watch it again. It's rewatchable. And it is fucking a movie that if you watch in a dark room with people and you're really into it, oh my god, it's an experience. Now, the last one, which is Dragged Across Concrete, the last one I saw of his, that one was very good. It was extremely well written. Like, the depths of all the characters, their goals in life, their decisions they make, it's all so believable and like just so brutal, so cruel and brutal. Dragged Across Concrete is, man, just, oh my god, like the things that happen, it's like, you think there's gonna be this like glimmery little hope at the end for certain characters, and oh no, there's not. Like, in fact, in Dragged Across Concrete, it's like the reality of some of these people, it's like a boot stomping on their head just over and over and over again. And it's very thought-provoking, the amount of just shit these people go through, the horrible things that happen, the disregard for human life, the pointlessness of the working world, and the pointlessness of, like, it just makes you think of so many things. Like, one particular scene in that movie, Dragged Across Concrete, a person dies in such a brutal way, and not a violent way, not so gory and, like, you know, that, but it was like, it was so sad. It was so sad. It was just like unforgettable. completely unforgettable. You'll never forget it. And it's truly a unique way this person gets taken out, and how they die, and what transpires through that, because it is like something written in a book. The director, Zahler, he has an amazing way of making a movie feel like a book, with how well written it is, and with how much detail. I've heard that in Dragged Across Concrete, the company wanted this distribution company, whatever was producing this movie, wanted him to cut the movie to 1 hour and 30 minutes, but he did not. It was like 2 hours 40 minutes, and I remember watching it thinking, I've gotten through like an hour, and oh my god, how much more do I got of this? But I mean, it was so worth it. It's a slow burn. It's not one of the movies that you want to watch as like a good time party thing, but it's so good, because it's like an unconventional story about cops, people's envy, stealing things, trying to make it big. So many different scenarios, and it's like a book, because there's so much detail and all these stories going into each other, and the way it all works out, when you see these certain characters who are just depraved of humanity, and then you see other people who are, the best of humanity, basically, or, good people, and you see them all intertwine and go these separate ways, or, mix up, hit paths, and how things unfold is truly like genius. It's very, very well written. It impacts you very well. So I cannot say enough about this guy. Like, he's so good. So a total big recommendation to him if you're a fan of, John Carpenter, let's say Paul Thomas Anderson before he went all faggy gay and started making dressmaker movies, and that one shitty movie with Joaquin Phoenix, that forgettable movie, I can't even think of the name. I'm talking about Phantom Thread with PTA, that Daniel Day-Lewis dressmaker movie that don't even try. Like, I'm not even gonna fucking try watching that. I know it's about. Fuck Paul Thomas Anderson. He used to be good. There Will Be Blood, The Master, fucking excellent movies. But yeah, he's lost it. He's done. But this guy now, he's a savior to us who actually enjoy good movies. I like Denis Villeneuve, or the guy who made the new Blade Runner. He made Sicario, which I think he did, but I don't like that. But Blade Runner was very good, so I think he's going to be doing a Dune, the movie Dune, soon. That should be pretty good, because he did very good with Blade Runner. He did like exceptionally well. So as far as other directors around, man, there's not so many catching my eye right now, unfortunately. So he's Zahler, man, if I'm fucking saying it right, Craig Zahler. He's the guy that really people need to be looking out for. He needs to be produced. He needs to be making more movies. Because this guy is fucking excellent. I mean, shit. I can't wait to see what else he's got, because every movie he's consistently good. Like, my god, man, he's like up there in my top directors, because he's not made a bad one yet. And like, that's with John Carpenter, man. He's made so many good ones that John Carpenter's my favorite, even though he's made some terrible ones. But the amount of good ones he's made, outdoes the bad totally. And like Paul Thomas Anderson, sure, I like some of his movies, but like, would I say he's even my top 3? Like, hell no, because he makes a ton of bad movies. So Zahler, man, he could really be something special. Like, in the next 10 years, he could be like the real next huge big director that like everybody watches, because this guy, like, he's got human depth, man. He can, like, when you look at this guy in interviews, it's like he's got this old soul personality where he's just able to understand people's emotions and how they feel without them telling people how they feel, and just their body language and how they talk and various things, how they act. he like knows how people tick. That's my best way of describing this guy. He's very genuine and knows how people think, and the truly shit hands people have gone through, because obviously these stories he writes about, it's got to be personal things. There's got to be some personalness to this, because these stories are truly terrible situations that people find themselves in, like just hopeless, toilet bowls of a life, and it's very fucking relatable to see someone cover stories like that, because those stories should be told. There's a lot of stories out there that are like very hard to hear, but they're amazing. Like, they're truly sad and hopeless, but like the what happens and what they do to try to make the best out of it is like worth a story, man. Like, he tells stories that aren't always told, and they're very good. So enough about that. Do what I say and watch that guy's movie, man. Check him out.